We suck so bad. Our front office is the worst in the NFL. We literally have no clue what the hell we're doing. It can't even be fun anymore for you guys to troll us. It honestly can't be. You know, we used to be a glorious organization that would make moves and, you know, get the best of deals and things. It all sucks. I mean, I don't know that the Cowboys, if they tried to do worse, could than what they've been doing. So, Jonathan Phillips, who we made a trade for. See, for all those out there, for all those guys out there that are constantly saying the Cowboys, you know, they just need to make trades. They need to just make trades, you know, blow it up and start all over. That's a good idea if you have people that know what they're doing, that know how to trade. Like Howie Roseman. Howie knows how to make some trades and get some value. Or, you know what I'm saying? You know, he fleeced the Colts with the Carson Wentz thing. He fleeced the Tennessee Titans on A.J. Brown. That's a guy that's shrewd and can make some deals, who literally took things that were bad draft picks and made them shine. So we traded with the New York Giants for Jonathan Phillips, late round pick. I think it's 7th round pick. Not, you know, grand scheme of things, it's not as much as what we've done in the past for other guys, mind you. We've just released that guy. The Cowboys thought of, we can just sign old players that have never been stars, USFL guys that have been journeymen, guys that have been out of the league for years, that we can take this, you know, it's kind of like Battlestar Galactica. That's it. Battlestar Galactica. You know, they had two. There was actually, I think, 2 battleships, because they found the other one later on. But they had this one battleship, okay, with all the Vipers and everything else, and it was great. I'm talking about the original one. I never really got into the new one, but you know, then they created a ragtag fugitive fleet. Okay, they took all of these, you know, different ships and everything else, and they put them all together, and they, you know, were trying to save humanity, try and find Earth. Okay, and that's what it seems like the Cowboys do. We're making this ragtag fugitive fleet, or maybe they think it's Baba Black Sheep. Okay, although Pappy Blowington kind of exaggerated it, you know, some of the stuff in the story and things. But the Black Sheep Squadron was a bunch of, as they put it, misfits and malcontents and everything else. And they put them together. It wasn't so much that as it was pilots that just weren't assigned to other squadrons. The story, of course, grew that there were guys that are always fighting and doing this, that, and the other. But they put these guys together, and they became one of the best fighter squadrons in the South Pacific. VMF 214. And Pappy Bowington, who was a bit of a drunk and a wild man, who was a triple ace, or was it a quadruple ace? I can't remember. I'm getting old and forgetful. Maybe that's what the Cowboys thought. You know, we are poor little lambs who have lost our way. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, you're getting all excited, right? But that's not how it's working with the Cowboys. So let's see if we got this straight. The Cowboys figured that Mozzie Smith was going to turn around and be an above average defensive tackle, that he was going to be our main guy, even though nothing that he did last year showed that. He ended up being hurt before Thanksgiving, hurt his shoulders, and that stunted his growth. But you saw enough on there and said, that guy's good. That Osa Ndigazua, who is a free agent after the end of this year, who is an undersized defensive tackle, who's more of a pass rusher and thrives at that, but is not a good run stopper, that we're okay with that. And we can go ahead and just get guys who seemed like they checked out, where the New York Giants said, you know what, we don't have any need for him. Let's trade for that guy and put him on the line. And now we got Mingo Dingo, or Dingo Mingo, or Mingo Jonathan Mingo. I hope he's not a dingo. We just gave up a 4th round pick for him when the Carolina Panthers, he's a 5th wide receiver. So if you're looking at it from the standpoint, our 5th wide receiver would be Ryan Fauntleroy. Okay, I'm just saying that you look at it, CeeDee Lamb's number 1, Brandon Cook's number 2, Jalen Tolbert's number 3. Jalen Brooks would probably be 4, and Ryan Fauntleroy would be number 5. So we traded with Carolina to take their wide receiver, that would be their 5th wide receiver, who has 121 yards receiving. We gave up a 4th round pick for him when DeAndre Hopkins, although he costs more money, we said, no, that's okay. We could look at a 4th round pick, that DeAndre Hopkins, a guy who wanted to come here 2 years ago. Let me say that again. A guy who wanted to come here 2 years ago, who had 2 touchdown receptions last night for Kansas City. That the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a high payroll, they got a lot of guys when they're getting paid. They didn't say we can't afford him or the draft capital's too much. They get him. We literally are watching players that the Cowboys could have signed years ago and been productive on this team, from Bobby Wagner, who is thriving right now under Dan Quinn in Washington, who wanted to come to the Cowboys 3 years ago. DeAndre Hopkins, who was literally working out with Dez Bryant and saying, come get me. To Derrick Henry, who may be only the 2nd player in the NFL history. And how cool would it have been to have had the all-time leading rusher? And Emmitt Smith. Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett. If you had brought in Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry becoming a Hall of Famer, that you could literally say that you had 3 Hall of Fame running backs on your roster. I don't think anybody else could actually say that. He was begging for the Cowboys to pick up the phone and call us. DeAndre Swift, who the Lions called the Cowboys about. Stephen Jones said, who? I'll get back to him, and never called him. So all of those moves, which wouldn't have called, except for DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift would cost you a draft pick. But all of those guys that if you had on this team right now, DeAndre Hopkins, Bobby Wagner, Derrick Henry, those three guys right there. And I'm going to put on here a guy that I have said for years to get, Calais Campbell. Had they gone out and gotten Calais Campbell a couple of times, that I said, because right now Calais Campbell is better than anybody we got on the defensive line. And I think Calais is only like $3 billion. The only reason the Cowboys made this move is, one, they were familiar with him because they were interested in him a couple years ago. And two, he's dirt cheap. We'll never win, guys. This is the mentality that the Cowboys have done. Their big moves, bring in Jonathan Phillips, trade for that guy, and getting a project wide receiver. And we as Cowboy fans sit here and say, we them boys, and why are we in the Super Bowl? Fire the coach. Get rid of the quarterback. None of that matters as long as this is what they're going to give them to work with. This is the best we're going to do to work with, right? So sorry shit, man.